pulling out my teeth and sinking in my helpless disbelief.
Hello and welcome back to Friday Reads, where we help you find your next read. I'm Jill.
And I'm Julie, and it's been a few weeks since you've heard from us, but today we've got tissue boxes handy because we're doing tearjerkers. So Jill,
Tearjerkers.
What's your first pick?
My first one here, The Collected Regrets of Clover by Mickey Brammer. This was published in 2023. What's the point of giving someone a beautiful death if you can't give yourself a beautiful life? From the day she watched her kindergarten teacher drop dead during a dramatic telling of Peter Rabbit, Clover Brooks has felt a stronger connection with the dying than she has with the living. After her beloved grandfather, who raised her, dies alone while she is traveling, Clover becomes a death doula in New York City, dedicating her life to ushering people peacefully through their end-of-life process. Clover spends so much time with the dying that she has no life of her own, until the final wishes of feisty old women send Clover on a road trip to uncover a forgotten love story, and perhaps her own happy ending. And as she finds herself struggling to navigate the uncharted roads of romance and friendship, Clover is forced to examine what she really wants, and whether she'll have the courage to go after it. Probing, clever, and hopeful, The Collected Regrets of Clover is perfect for readers of the Midnight Library, and Eleanor Oliphant is completely fine, as it turns a normally taboo subject of death into a reason to celebrate life. The Collected Regrets of Clover. Maybe a couple of tissues for that one.
My first pick is The Outsiders by S.E. Hinton. I even brought in my copy, 75 cents. Way back when. This was my favorite book when I was a teenager, and I cried every time I read this book. So, The Outsiders is about 2 weeks in the life of a 14-year-old boy. The novel tells the story of Ponyboy Curtis and his struggles with right and wrong in a society in which he believes that he's an outsider. According to Ponyboy, there are two kinds of people in the world, greasers and socias, short for social. The socias have money, can get away with just about anything, and have an attitude longer than a limousine. A greaser, on the other hand, always lives on the outside and needs to watch his back. Ponyboy is a greaser, and he's always been proud of it, even willing to rumble against a gang of socias for the sake of his fellow greasers, until one terrible night when his friend Johnny kills one of them. The murder gets under Ponyboy's skin, causing his bifurcated world to crumble and teaching him that pain feels the same whether you are a soc or a greaser. Now you can see this story come to life on Broadway, so I bet that's pretty good. I would be excited to see that, but definitely a multiple tissue book for me as a teen. The Outsiders.
The next one I have is The People We Keep by Allison Larkin. This was published in 2021. The People We Keep is about a young songwriter longing to find a home in the world. Little River, New York, 1994. April Sawicki is living in a motorless motorhome that her father won in a poker game. Failing out of school, picking up shifts at Margot's Diner, she's left fending for herself in a town where she's never quite felt at home. When she borrows her neighbor's car to perform an open mic night, she realizes her life might be much bigger than where she came from. After a fight with her dad, April packs her stuff and leaves for good, setting off on a journey to find a life that's all hers. As April moves through the world, meeting people who feel like home, she chronicles her life in the songs she writes and discovers that where she came from doesn't dictate who she has to be. This lyrical, unflinching tale is for anyone who has ever yearned for the fierce power of found family or to grasp the profound beauty of choosing to belong. And songs always make me cry, so probably another two-tissue one.
My next pick is Sarah's Key by Tatiana de Rosny. This was published in 2005, and this is another one that makes me weep. This is one of my favorite historical fiction books. Paris, July 1942. 10-year-old Sarah is brutally arrested with her family in the Val d'Hiv roundup, the most notorious act of French collaboration with the Nazis. But before the police come to take them, Sarah locks her younger brother Michel in their favorite hiding place, a cupboard in the family's apartment. She keeps the key, thinking that she will be back within a few hours. Paris, May 2002. It's the 60th anniversary of the roundup. Julia, an American journalist, is asked by her Paris-based American magazine to write an article about this Black Day in France's past. Julia has lived in Paris for nearly 25 years, married a Frenchman, and she is shocked both by her ignorance about the event and the silence that still surrounds it. In the course of her investigation, she stumbles onto a trail of long-hidden family secrets that connect her to Sarah. Julia finds herself compelled to retrace the girl's ordeal from the terrible days spent shut in at the Valdehive to the camps and beyond. As she probes into Sarah's past, she begins to question her own place in France and to reevaluate her marriage and her life. Writing about the fate of her country with a pitiless clarity, Tatiana de Rosnay offers us a brilliantly subtle, compelling portrait of France under occupation and reveals the taboos and denials surrounding this painful episode in French history.
Wow.
So keep the box close for this one.
Oh, boy. So my next one, I didn't actually read this, but according to Book Talk, everybody has, and it's so sad. You're going to need a whole box of tissues. If He Had Been With Me, number 1. Apparently there's more in this series. This is by Laura Nolan. This was published in 2013. If he had been with me, everything would have been different. I wasn't with Finn that August night, but I should have been. It was raining, of course, and he and Sylvie were arguing as he drove down the slick road. No one ever says what they were arguing about. Other people think it's not important. What do they know? There's another story, the story that lurks beneath the facts. What they do not know, the cause of the argument, is crucial. So let me tell you. So you find out what happens.
Sounds good.
Yes. You might need the whole box of tissues for that one.
My third pick is another one of my favorites from when I was younger. And it's Anne Frank, The Diary of a Young Girl, which was published back in 1947. Discovered in the attic in which she spent the last years of her life, Anne Frank's remarkable diary has become a world classic. Powerful reminder of the horrors of war and an eloquent testament to the human spirit. In 1942, with the Nazis occupying Holland, a 13-year-old Jewish girl and her family fled their home in Amsterdam and went into hiding. For the next 2 years, until their whereabouts were betrayed to the Gestapo, the Franks and another family cloistered in the secret annex of an old office building. Cut off from the outside world, they faced hunger, boredom, the constant cruelties of living in confined quarters, and the ever-present threat of discovery and death. In her diary, Anne Frank recorded vivid impressions of her experiences during this period. By turns, it's thoughtful, it's moving, and surprisingly humorous at times. Her account offers a fascinating commentary on human courage and frailty, and a compelling self-portrait of a sensitive and spirited young woman whose promise was tragically cut short. Brought in my copy. It's very yellowed. Another book I read repeatedly as a teen, and always had my Kleenex box handy.
I think I read that one like 5 times too.
Yeah.
So this next one, Kristen Higgins, Pack Up the Moon. This is published in 2021. Every month, a letter. That's what Lauren decides to leave her husband when she finds out she's dying. Each month, she gives Josh a letter containing a task to help him face the first year without her, leading him on a heart-trending, beautiful, often humorous journey to find happiness again in this new novel from a New York Times bestselling author, Kristen Higgins. Joshua and Laura are a perfect couple, newly married. They're wildly in love, each successful and rewarding career path. Then Lauren is diagnosed with a terminal illness. As Lauren's disease progresses, Joshua struggles to make the most of the time he has left with his wife and to come to terms with his future, a future with the only woman he's ever loved. He's so consumed with finding a way to avoid the inevitable ending that he never imagines his life after Lauren. But Lauren has a plan to keep her husband moving forward, a plan hidden in the letters she leaves him. In those letters, one for every month of the year of her death. After her death, Lauren leads Joshua on a journey through pain, anger, and denial. It's a journey that will take Joshua from his attempt at a dinner party for family and friends and getting rid of their bed, from a visit to the psychic medium with a kiss with a woman who isn't Lauren. As this grief makes room for laughter and new relationships, Joshua learns most valuable lesson. The path to happiness doesn't follow a straight line. So this was published in 2021.
It sounds like one that I should put on my
oh
to-be
my
read
gosh,
list.
make you sob.
My next pick is one of my favorite YA books, and this is The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. This was published back in 2012. Love the book, love the movie. Despite the tumor-shrinking medical miracle that has bought her a few years, Hazel has never been anything but terminal. her final chapter inscribed upon her diagnosis. But when a gorgeous plot twist named Augustus Waters suddenly appears at Cancer Kid Support Group, Hazel's story is about to be completely rewritten. It's insightful, it's bold, it's irreverent, it's an award-winning author whose most ambitious and heartbreaking work yet. Jill's grabbing Phoenix. I thought it was funny at times and just absolutely tragic in others, and a story about love. You can find this book in the YA collection. And again, big box of Kleenex for this one.
Yeah, that one will destroy
book
you.
Movie.
My last book today is The End of Loneliness by Benedict Wells. This was published in 2016. Jules Moreau's childhood is shattered after the sudden death of his parents. Enrolled in boarding school where he and his siblings, Marty and Liz, are forced to live apart, the once vivacious and fearless Jules retreats inward, preferring to live with his memories, until he meets Alva, a kindred soul caught in her own grief. 15 years pass, and the siblings remain strangers to one another, bound by tragedy and struggling to recover the family they once were. Jules, still adrift, anchored by only his desires to be a writer and to reunite with Alva, who turned her back on their friendship and the precipice of it becoming more. But just as it becomes, they can make amends for time wasted. Invisible forces, either fate or chance, intervene. A kaleidoscope family saga told through the fractured lives of 3 Moreau siblings alongside faltering, recovering love story. The End of Loneliness is a stunning meditation in the power of our memories, what can be lost and what can never be let go. With inimitable compassion and luminous affecting prose, Benedict Wells contends that what it means to find a way through life will never be giving up hope. You will find someone to go with you. Oh, the end of loneliness.
Oh, gosh. My last pick is Full Measures by Rebecca Yarros, popular author at this library. This one was published back in 2014. 3 knocks can change everything. She knew. That's why Mom hadn't opened the door. She knew he was dead. 20 years as an army brat, and Ember Howard knew too. The soldiers at the door meant her dad was never coming home. What she didn't know was how she would find the strength to single-handedly care for her crumbling family when her mom falls apart. Then Josh Walker enters her life, hockey star, her new next-door neighbor, and not to mention the most delicious hands that insist on saving her over and over again. He has a way of erasing the pain with a single look, a single touch. As much as she wants to turn off her feelings and endure her heartache on her own, she can't deny their intense attraction. Until Josh's secret shatters their world, and Ember must decide if he's worth the risk that comes with loving a man who could strip her bare. This book, I think I started crying on page 11, which might be a new record for me, crying in a book. So, lots of tissues in this one early on.
Well, if you're in need of a really good cry, we hope that we gave you some good ideas of what to read to make you sob.
Grab a tissue or two and grab one of our picks. Thank you for watching our videos. You can find us on our Facebook page, the Kimberly Public Library website. Jill puts a link to our YouTube channel. And until next time, we thank you for watching. Bye.